Good evening. The United States has significantly strengthened its military presence in the Gulf region, signaling a heightened state of readiness. Amid growing tensions with Iran and wider instability across the Middle East, the move has drawn global attention, raising questions about deterrence, defense, and the risk of escalation in one of the world's most strategically important regions. In recent days, the U.S. has deployed additional naval and air assets to the Gulf, including advanced warships, fighter jets, and support units. American officials describe these deployments as precautionary and defensive, aimed at protecting U.S. forces, allies, and critical shipping lanes. Washington insists that the buildup is not intended to provoke conflict, but to prevent it. The Gulf region holds immense strategic value. It is home to key U.S. military bases, vital energy infrastructure, and major sea routes used for global trade and oil transport. Any instability here has immediate international consequences, which is why U.S. military planners consider the area a top priority. According to U.S. defense officials, the increased presence allows for faster response times and stronger deterrence. They argue that visible military strength discourages hostile actions and reassures regional allies, who feel threatened by rising tensions. At the same time, American leaders stress that diplomacy remains the preferred path forward. However, the military buildup has been viewed differently in Tehran. Iranian officials see the expanded U.S. presence as a direct threat and an act of pressure. They claim such deployments increase the risk of miscalculation and warn that American bases and naval assets in the region could become targets if conflict breaks out. This exchange highlights a long-standing cycle in U.S.-Iran relations, where one side's defensive measures are perceived as offensive by the other. Analysts warn that this dynamic makes de-escalation increasingly difficult, especially when military forces operate in close proximity. Regional allies of the United States, including Gulf states, have largely welcomed the increased American presence. These countries view U.S. forces as a stabilizing factor and a security guarantee against regional threats. At the same time, they remain cautious, aware that any large-scale conflict would unfold in their backyard. Beyond the Middle East, global powers are watching closely. European and Asian nations depend heavily on energy supplies that pass through the Gulf. Any disruption, particularly in critical waterways, could affect fuel prices, supply chains, and economic stability worldwide. Military experts note that the current U.S. posture reflects a broader strategy of deterrence rather than immediate confrontation. By maintaining a strong presence, Washington aims to signal that it is prepared for any scenario while leaving room for diplomatic engagement. Still, critics argue that heavy militarization increases tensions rather than easing them. Diplomatic efforts continue behind the scenes. U.S. officials say military strength and diplomacy are not mutually exclusive, but part of a combined approach. They maintain that a credible military presence gives negotiations more weight, while diplomacy offers a path to avoid war. The situation on the ground remains fluid. Military exercises, surveillance operations, and patrols continue across the region. Each movement is closely monitored by rival forces, increasing the importance of clear communication and restraint. As tensions persist, the strengthened U.S. military presence in the Gulf stands as both a shield and a signal. A shield for allies and strategic interests, and a signal to adversaries that any threat will be met with readiness. Whether this posture succeeds in preserving stability or pushes the region closer to confrontation will depend on decisions made in the days ahead. For now, the Gulf remains a focal point of global security, where diplomacy and military power intersect under intense international scrutiny.